Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Cyber Prophets. Cyber Prophets prophesizing the future of technology. I am here with my co-host and brother from another mother, Federico.
Welcome everyone. Hopefully you are ready to learn more about our interesting topic about tonight or today if you are in another part of the world.
Yes. Our audience from all over the world is listening to us. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to learn every week more about a new and innovative topic. Last week, we spoke about ChatGPT, this chatbot that is giving human-like answers to all of the questions that you can imagine. It's even better than Google for searches. However, there are some rumors that in the future, this AI, this ChatGPT, can be used to automate tasks and even can replace software developers. That's why we decided to do a video last week. Please check it out. It was a live run of ChatGPT, and we assessed the current capabilities of this tool. Check it out. We're gonna leave the link here in the description. And today we're going to discuss a little bit more about this tool. There has been a lot of fuss, and everyone is speaking about ChatGPT right now. And we're going to start by talking about this ban. ChatGPT, or the use of code generated by ChatGPT, has been banned from Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow made an official announcement that they have a temporary policy. ChatGPT is banned. The use of ChatGPT generated text for the context on Stack Overflow is temporarily banned. And let me cite what they say. Overall, the average rate of getting correct answers from ChatGPT is currently too low. The posting of answers created by ChatGPT is substantially harmful to the site and to users who are asking and looking for correct answers. That's how they pronounce themselves, and that is why they mention that they are not currently allowing users to post ChatGPT answers. Let us discuss a bit about that. What are your thoughts on this, Federico?
Well, as the last week we saw, the code is not perfect in any sense. You have to do some research and you must test. I would say that if you just copy and paste the question from Stack Overflow into ChatGPT and you got random code that you didn't test, well, for sure you should not post that code because you never tested it, and that's a huge issue. Especially that our test, or last week's test, was in something that you will test easily, that is JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. But if you had something more complex where you need to compile code, let's say Java code, C# code, C++ code, let's say assembly code or whatever other code, and you don't test it, you can really introduce a lot of issues and, let's say, corrupt the information in Stack Overflow.
Yeah, and this answer is in line with what we tested last week. And let me cite once more what they say in Stack Overflow. They say, the code typically looks like it is correct and that it might be good, and the answers are very easy to produce. However, there's a high rate of being incorrect. And many people are trying out ChatGPT to create answers without the expertise or willingness to verify that the answer is correct prior to posting. And this is exactly what you're mentioning, Federico, that people are using the code and not even like trying to test it, verifying how correct it is, and just like posting on Stack Overflow, right? So they are mentioning that the volume of these answers is right now reaching thousands. And the fact that the to correctly answer these pieces of code requires a detailed read by someone that has the expertise, is actually disturbing the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for now, the use of ChatGPT to create posts on Stack Overflow is not permitted. That is the conclusion. Now, do you think, Federico, that this is something correct for the time being?
I will say yes, because in ChatGPT you can ask some questions, but it's really hard to provide every single detail. And sometimes you have to read the entire question. It's not that I just ask, hey, my code is failing because the button is not working. You need to really go into details, understand the user's code, and sometimes it's something that is really hard to debug. I had an experience that I found even a bug in the Chrome browser, and I had to report it to Google, to the Chromium project, and until today it's not fixed. And it's something that if you ask ChatGPT, ChatGPT will not be able to answer it. It doesn't matter whatever code you provide me, it's going to be wrong because this is an issue in the Chrome browser or the Chromium engine. So regardless the answer will be, well, Google accepted it's a mistake, and if Google accepts it's a mistake, it's a mistake.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems that for the time being, it's a strategic move from Stack Overflow. They say that most of the answers delivered by ChatGPT do not meet the standards, and people are only copy pasting without verifying the answers provided.
I will say that the issue is not that the answer is incorrect by itself, but the problem is that you cannot provide the full context to ChatGPT. Some questions in Stack Overflow have huge descriptions. And imagine to provide the question, the body, the code, and the ChatGPT should understand all those things is hard because it will need a lot of context.
Yeah.
If you just ask questions to Stack Overflow without the body of the question, without the code provided, the likelihood that ChatGPT will provide you any correct answer is null. It's not that ChatGPT is wrong in this case, is that in my personal opinion, in many cases, it will not be able to consume all that amount of information and provide the right output.
Yeah, and this is related to also to the discussion that we had last week that ChatGPT lacks the context. They can be useful for very specific function for pieces of code. However, he doesn't see the whole picture of what is going on and how the different functions interact among themselves, etc., etc. And this is something that we saw in our example when we were creating this tic-tac-toe, that we had to ask it several times to recreate the functions, and then it added something to the functions, it tweaked them a bit, and at the end it worked, but it still required this rework. Now, let us discuss about something more. Something very particular about ChatGPT is that, first of all, it currently cannot access the web, and second, it has its cutoff date in 2021. That means, for example, if you ask ChatGPT who is the winner of the World Cup 2022, they are not able to provide you with an answer. They don't know it. Now, Federico, what do you think? Should ChatGPT be able to access the web? What can happen?
I do believe that it's going to have access to the web.
Yeah.
Right now, there is even an agreement between Microsoft Bing and ChatGPT. So even if right now Bing cannot, let's say, generate new answers with ChatGPT, for sure it's going to have access. That's not something that probably the reason why they didn't do it is because every day you are generating a lot of content, and something that you do when you're a data scientist or you work in that area, you must clean a lot of trash.
Okay.
And that's the thing. People can create a lot of trash and can confuse ChatGPT. So Yeah, if you influence an SEO with saying thousands of times that cats are dogs, and then the SEO will show you that cats are dogs, then ChatGPT will tell you that a cat is a dog. And
Hmm.
that's why, in my opinion, they have prevented to access it. It's not because right now it's not possible, it's because it will consume a lot of trash and then it will give you trash as an answer, and they want to prevent that.
Okay, so you think that, yeah, the machine learning algorithm basically trains itself on the basis of what you feed it upon, right? The
Yeah,
input data. So
yeah. I
your
can
argument is
give
that,
you a simple example of something that
yes.
I faced.
Hmm.
In my case, I have published two books, and when you Google the name of the book in Google, it often shows my person as the writer.
Hmm.
But from time to time, I have to remember Google that the Mexican writer is not me.
Which Mexican
There
writer?
is another Mexican writer who is an expert in a different topic, who is older than me. And every time they mix my names with his name because we share
I
similar.
see.
And then I have to remind Google sending text, hey guys, he's not the writer of my book. So imagine something like that, that they are the owners of their own tools and they cannot even control their own tools, is you can have mistakes.
So
And in
let let
ChatGPT, that is something that you have, that is like, it will be wild reading everything that comes from Bing, Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever. It can really corrupt this information because you need to clean it. And
Mhm.
that's the hardest part when you're a data scientist, to clean data. Like 60% of your work is cleaning data.
So let me just try to understand what happened in your example.
Yep,
You and this Mexican writer share the same name,
yep,
but for some reason, Google's algorithm automatically linked your book with the other guy.
yes.
Okay, I see. I
And
see, I
that's
see.
that's when I gave the case that if someone starts writing spammy websites saying cats are dogs, cats are dogs, and they become extremely popular in Bing, Google, or something like that, then Google can get confused, and then you type, I would like to see a cat, and it shows you a Rottweiler. And
Yeah,
then,
they can make the algorithm go wild
yeah,
if there are like enough occurrences of
yes,
something that is mistaken.
yes.
That is
And
your
that's
argument.
why, in my opinion, ChatGPT, the developers want to prevent that. It's not that they could not allow it. For sure, that they could give them access to a search engine, but
Mhm.
it's the issue is that can get corrupted quite quickly, and then start
Mhm.
giving whatever answers that they don't want, that the application provides.
Now, let me follow up with what you mentioned at the beginning. You mentioned that Bing is going to use in the background ChatGPT in order to provide you with answers. I think this is an amazing move because nowadays you can ask ChatGPT and it gives you incredible answers, very concise, as if it was your friend, even like human-like answers. So I see many benefits by using that. However, if this is prone to being manipulated in the sense that you can input uh, incorrect information and at the end of the day you will get an incorrect response, how do you think that we can deal with such a thing? What will be the correct procedure?
That's why I do believe that for now they will not allow it to use access properly the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And when Bing provides you an answer from ChatGPT, probably will be related, let's say, up to 2021 or up to 2022, but it will not be related to recent events.
I see. Okay, so
Until,
it will still be something with a cutoff date, not
yes.
exactly like a real time thing.
Yeah, I think it will take a while because they need to understand how to clean data and to
Yeah,
prevent that the data is not corrupted. They will need to have a code that verifies that what you are writing or not, what is providing you as an answer is accurate. Because if not, what is going to happen is that people will stop trusting in Bing or let's say Google or whatever search engine, because they will see it like something that is misleading and it's creating a lot of fake news.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That is important to take into consideration. And we'll be waiting for news to hear more about this agreement between Bing and ChatGPT. The last topic that I want to talk about for today, Federico, are the possible implications of using AI. And for this, I will take advantage of the answer that ChatGPT provided me. I have asked him, what are the possible risks of using AI? And they gave me a list of 6 items. First, loss of jobs. Second, bias in AI systems. Third, lack of transparency. Fourth, security risks. Fifth, ethical concerns. And sixth, dependency on technology. Now, I think that these are like very real risks, and that every professional, especially if you are in the IT world, every professional should be aware of these risks. But I would like to ask you, Federico, how do you see the way forward if there are so many risks implicated with the use of AI? What would be like the correct way of proceeding?
But when I read the some of the answers, at least the first 2 points, like loss of jobs or
Yes.
bias in AI systems, just remind me to the Industrial Revolution. I'm not sure if many of you have watched a movie that is called Charlie and the Chocolates Factory. There was a recreation in the 2000s where they show you when Charlie's dad lost his job because there was a machine that was able to do his work, and then he lost his job.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the Industrial Revolution. So it's not so different. Thousands of people
Makes sense.
have been laid off. What was the difference between Charlie's and the rest of the industrial workers in the company? The majority of them, they had to relocate if they would like to get a job in the same industry, because there was no more job in the town, as simple as that. And if you don't leave the place where you're living, there is no more job for you.
Mm-hmm.
What was the difference with Charlie's dad? He upskilled himself and he learned how to fix the machine that replaced him.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you are able to profit and benefit from ChatGPT or these technologies, you will be able to move forward. But if you get stuck, that let's give an example that you are a web developer and you just want to be a web developer and don't want to learn how to code in C++, then good luck, man. Sorry, but that's you will face what the rest of people experience. Of course, there are always options. Move to a different place. There will be a
Mm-hmm.
place where ChatGPT will not be able to adapt so quickly because they speak maybe, let's give Hindi or I don't know, Marathi or another language that you have never heard of. And if you're able to learn that language, then until ChatGPT comes to that place, your work will be saved. But that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, you need to be able to move and be brave to do it, even if you're in your 50s. But my advice is that you need to get into the market and profit from the things when they are getting started.
Yeah.
I'm even already using ChatGPT for my own benefit, so I know that it is possible.
What are you using it for?
I created a children edition about my book, and I create summaries of some stories to create like smaller versions. In the end, ChatGPT, let's say, summaries were not perfect. Some of them were a little bit odd. I had to tweak them, but it
Yeah.
simplified my time. I simplified my work and time. I save a lot of time.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah. And I think that, okay, first of all, I agree that we should encourage people right now, like not to be afraid of of Chat GPT, but rather to learn how to use them in their advantage and upskill if necessary. And second, even as we saw like the last time, or even in the example that you are communicating us right now about the summaries, the results that ChatGPT is giving right now are not perfect. The code was not perfect. The answers we received last week were not perfect. Your summaries were not perfect. You still had to do some work on top of that, but it greatly improved your efficiency as you didn't have to start from the scratch. You just have to make some small tweaks here and there, and you had it ready in a couple of minutes, right?
Yes. And the security risk is something similar. Is there are always security risk with any new technology. I will say that the biggest issue that we face with the topic about this, that they can be hacked or anything, is that we have become too dependent on technology. It's not that AI is dependent. How many people depend on their smartphone? How many people can live one day without a smartphone?
Difficult
One,
question.
I'm asking you, one day. So if you're scared that AI can take your job and that you have a technology dependency, you already have a technology dependency. So you need to be able to break that. And let's be serious. Imagine that a meteorite strikes the Earth and half-life is gone, like what happened with the dinosaurs. Would you be able to live like it was in the caves to produce, let's say, fire with wood? Would you be able to hunt like what the people used to do in the past? Would you dare to kill animals or something like that to live on your own? I don't think that we're prepared for that. We have become technology dependent.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anyone is prepared for that, Federico, to be honest. And we are entering into a topic that is actually related to every single aspect of the human life and the big multinational world that we're living in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to summarize what we have talked about today. And probably my best advice will be what we just mentioned, like don't be afraid of ChatGPT. You can also benefit from it, as Federico did, as we're going to do in the future. Don't be afraid of it. Learn how to use it, learn how to take it, and to use it in your advantage. And if necessary, upskill. Any last words, Federico?
I will suggest to upskill. Do not wait. It's
Do
not
not wait.
unnecessary. You must profit from it.
Wise words, Federico. And we are Cyber Prophets. We're prophesizing the future of technology. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see each other next time. Bye bye.